What even is this packaging? It's insanity. Wowza! What could it be? For height comparison, love it. Now let's see if we can get into it, shall we? I mean, it's just tape. How hard could it be? Just so you know, it can be really, really hard. Don't try this at home alone. Ooh. It's like a birthday surprise, only it's no longer my birthday. Some contents may shift in shipping. I'm a professional. Watch me, profession. Here is the magical unlocking mechanism. Brute force. I'm small, but I'm worried. Now that I'm completely out of breath, we're gonna fix the painting. And I know that there are some art teachers out there that are watching this and they are just cringing. Oh, she's so pretty. So here's our beautiful lady. I've measured her. She's actually 84 inches tall. So she is taller than one that I have in my bedroom that I showed you guys on Instagram earlier. These were very commonly done. She's of the period of our most recent project. So she was painted probably in about 1870 to 1890. These were very commonly done. This was kind of an at-home craft that women did. The issue with paintings of this age and that were done in this format, they would have books that they would send out. And you could copy the pattern out of a book. So housewives, young women, women of leisure would paint these monumental pieces for their homes. Because of course monumental pieces were all the rage back in the day. This was a time when huge museums were opening, global travel was something that was done by the wealthy, and they saw these monumental pieces in palaces and in museums, and they wanted them in their own homes, but there's only so many of those that are available, and we're talking about a time where we had an upper middle class developing, and so even if you were upper middle class, you couldn't necessarily go out and buy great masterworks, but you could copy them, and you could paint them yourself, and you could hang them in your house, so that's kind of along the lines of what this is. This one, as you can see, has suffered a lot of neglect and a lot of damage over the years, but it is definitely not beyond repair. Now, this is one that I, as a layperson and not a professional art restorer, am not going to be capable of doing a complete seamless restoration on. But to me, a little bit of her beauty is her obvious sign of wear. The love that she's had over the years, she obviously hung for many, many, many years. Because I know you can see in the close-ups of this fabric, this canvas is a very roughly milled canvas. It has these deep, the warp and weft of this is very uneven. It's not what we think of as a canvas today. I don't really know if you can even find this on the market today. My art historians might know for me, but I've searched everywhere and I can't find this particular kind of canvas on the market even. It's got a very, very rough, lumpy surface. So over the years, as these pieces hung and the pull of gravity caused their weave to pull apart, and we have these, as you can see, these long horizontal tears developing, where just over the years, they came apart. So we're going to work today to put her back together again, where she can be hung in our beautiful home of 14-foot ceilings and can actually be a piece of art that we can enjoy for several years to come. So you can see our lovely lady has been stitched together like Frankenstein. So I have a brand new razor blade, super sharp, and I'm going to try to gently cut through these stitches, and then just one at a time, we're going to pull them free. So this is going to take a hot minute, So I'm gonna BRB. So I want you to have appropriate level expectations when we're doing this project. So I've gone through and I removed all the Frankenstein stitches, and you'll see these were actually, this is part of the original weave. So this band is actually part of these, you can see these original stripes, the warp and the weft of this fabric. So I'm gonna try to get as many of these kind of re-rolled and laid back down to match the weave as I can. But to make sure we get a good lie, we have to go in here and I'm gonna just carefully trim away just the edges of the weft that is fraying. Because the way that we're gonna repair this, if I leave that, we're gonna get a lot of tangly mess. So that's our next step all along this area where the weave is still here and we have to go back and make sure, see what we don't want? We don't want these fuzzy wuzzies sticking out when we go in and we put our patch in. Again, this one, because I am not a professional art restorationist, I think that's pretty clear. This is a very inexpensive kind of folk art, almost piece of art that was done in the home. It doesn't have a great monetary value. I can do this. If you have a really expensive piece of art, obviously do not do this at home. This is our disclaimer. Do not try this at home. But you can do this, just be aware that you're taking a little bit of risk. But I'm gonna go through each step of the process with you to show you. So our next step is, our first step was, we unrolled her, we looked at her, wow, she's stunning. Wow, she's torn all the heck. So we're gonna try to go in and repair these tears. This one was stitched together like Frankenstein. We carefully, with our razor blade and our tweezers, took out all of these Frankenstein stitches that were all through her. And now we're gonna go in and try to make a nice clean patch for this spot. So this is our really ugly tear, the one that had been stitched together like Frankenstein. And you can hopefully see that the stitches have been removed and we've pieced it together in a much cleaner line. And then I've just used some modern packing tape to secure the two lines together. And there are tears all over this piece. So that's our first step. Clean up the splits, get them as tidy as you possibly can. Clean the splits, get them tidy, and then put a little bit of tape on them just to keep them in place so you can go on to the next step. Okay, folks, so we're back for day 2 of antique painting repair class, and I have changed my shirt and put my hair in a ponytail to show that time has passed. Actually, the big circles under my eyes should show that time has passed because working out these tears was really difficult. This one is extremely bad. There's actually a lot of canvas loss in this one. This one's pretty bad. This one's pretty bad. This one's really bad. We don't have any, I don't think that we're going to be able just to patch on the back and leave alone. I think we're going to have to do a lot of painting touch-up as well. that'll be a fun thing to get to watch. So now we're going to move on to step 2. Just to kind of sum up, even though you just watched it, and it was just on the video for you, it hasn't been 24 hours like it has been for me. We identified our tears. We removed old, really bad repairs. We worked on cleaning up the tears a little bit, placing them as closely together in the joints as we possibly could. And then what I did is I went over them with a piece of clear packing tape. I don't press it hard because you don't want that residue to stick to the painting, but you can place it just gently enough that it's going to allow step number 3, which is going to be creating our patches. So that's what we'll be doing next. And now we have the back of our painting. Once you've got the back of your canvas revealed, your repair areas become a lot more obvious. It is really easy to see the tears back here. You can see all the places our girl has weak spots, torn spots, and wear. So she's had a lot of love over the last 100 years, 150 years, and as a result, she's in pretty bad shape. But don't worry, we're going to get her all fixed up. These are the supplies you're going to need for the next step of your process. This is, for this painting, a very heavyweight canvas. This is a tough canvas. This is probably not what I would use on a regular painting canvas, a regular painter's canvas, a pre-stretched canvas. But because she's on a very heavyweight canvas, this is what I'm using for her. It also, you'll notice, is in a natural linen color. That's going to reduce the amount of overpainting we have to do to have it in this color. You need scissors, you need a paintbrush, and you need some glue. I use water-soluble glue. That way, whatever I do to this painting is completely reversible. And it's going to be reversible in a way that isn't going to cause damage to the painting in the long run. I'm also using a glue that is specifically called flexible glue for this part of the process, because a flexible glue will allow me to hang this painting without the use of a frame or a stretcher, and it won't cause stiff spots. If I used a glue that was not flexible, once I hung this piece, it would cause these strange, like crusty, tight, flat, weird spots in the piece. And since this one's going to kind of hang loose, we don't want that. So those are our supplies. So what do we do with these supplies now that we have them, Laine? Well, let me tell you. The first thing you want to do is measure your tear. So this isn't actually, it's not actually torn all the way to here, but it's really starting to fray and to weaken. So I'm going to go ahead and patch it all the way to here. So that's a 24-inch tear / weak spot. And it's only at its widest point about a ½ inch across. So then we're going to take our magic canvas, measure it out. 24 inches. And we're going to cut a piece that's about 2 to 3 times the size of the tear. Twice or 3 times the size of the tear width-wise, I should be clear. You do want it to extend a little bit further on either end of the tear. But the important part is that it be wider than the tear. Really important part. So we're going to go from this end to that end. You see how that's going to fit right over that tear? Now for the fun part. I'm going to take our glue, put it on our canvas, and we're going to take our paintbrush and we're going to make sure that the glue gets edge to edge on our canvas. And you can see I'm using a cutting board because obviously you don't want to do this on your painting, and there aren't a lot of surfaces you're going to want to get glue all over. And a cutting board's good. This is water-soluble glue, so you can just stick your cutting board in the washing machine and it'll come right off the dishwasher. Make sure you have a good edge-to-edge coat. I do like the glue. I do like the glue. Now we're ready to apply. Take your canvas patch. I'm lining up my selvage edge with the one on the original canvas. That's just, it just worked out this way on that one. And then I'm gonna press it down firmly. There's your first patch. So I'm gonna just touch that up a little bit, make sure my edges are all secure, and then I'll do it on the other 10 billion tears that are on this beautiful painting. Okay, so our patches are all in place. Now we wait for them to dry, and the real fun begins. Well, I have to tell you, I couldn't be more pleased with the way these have turned out. I haven't even applied any paint yet, and they've almost all completely disappeared. Areas where there were huge slits, gaping holes, we've patch dried up. And now they're lying flat and almost completely unnoticeable. Now, where we're gonna do a little bit of paint is right here. You can see right there, you've got a little bit of canvas showing through, and once you hang that on the wall, that's gonna be noticeable. So all we're gonna do is try to match our background color and stipple that in. Okay, so we're about to start our most terrifying part of this whole process. As you can see here pretty clearly, all through here, and then a little bit up here, which you can't see on screen, but it's there. We've got canvas showing through, and if I hang this on the wall, and it's gonna be, it's gonna be 14 feet in the air, so it won't be terribly visible, but as the light shines on it, you're gonna see what look like streaks of white. So we wanna go in and we wanna try to do a little bit of touch up. I'm using watercolors because, again, anything I wanna do to this painting, because I'm not a professional art restorationist, I want to be reversible, and watercolors are going to be fairly reversible in the long run. The colors we're gonna be using, you've gotta stay in your natural color palette. And it's hard sometimes to see, but most of these paintings used a lot of ochre, a lot of sienna. Your greens are going to be dark, and then you're going to soften all of those colors with white. But again, we're going to do watercolor, so we'll be building up paint over the surface. You never, 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 also never want to go in and just paint in strokes. You never want to try to stroke in your paint. You're going to use a super, super, super fine tip. Do you see how fine that tip is? And that way I can go in and just pixelate my color into these void areas. I'm going to do that. Move the paint over here where you can see what's going down. We're going to get started. So here she is, our gorgeous goddess of spring. The one that just 2 days ago, someone said to me, why did you buy that painting? It's obviously worthless. You can't hang it. It's all torn up. 2 days of work, and not even like 2 days of work. You guys know it didn't take me 2 days. It was like probably, I don't know, 4 hours of work all total. And I now have an absolutely stunning piece of work. I'm not gonna say it's restored because I'm not an art restorationist, but I will say it's rejuvenated, it's revived, it's gonna hang proudly over the mantle of our newest project that you guys know is Louise for years to come. She's got decades more life in her now, and I'll be maintaining her. So if it comes to a point where I see another tear or another weak spot developing, I'll turn her down from that amount of place, and I will put another patch in her, and we'll touch up her paint spots, and we'll give her decades and decades and decades of life to come. The great thing about this I have another painting. It's actually shorter than this in my bedroom. I spent $1,200 on that painting 10 years ago. So you can imagine with simple inflation, now what those paintings are going for. The last one I saw, I think was $2,800, maybe $3,200. I paid $200 for Persephone. 200. And then I went in and paid probably another $10 for the supplies that I needed to repair her. So when you guys are out art shopping, don't automatically discount something fabulous because it has a little bit of damage. Sometimes damage is charming. I have a few pieces in my house that there's chunks of paint missing out of them, but it gives it that feeling of time and that feeling of progression and of life. In situations like this, where the damage made it where it could no longer be displayed, don't be afraid to pick it up and give it a shot, because otherwise, what good is it? So, thanks for joining, guys. That's Kevin coming in, making lots of noise. Bye.